Mom's eyes shimmered with pride as she said it. "Ava, you're my angel. I don't know how you manage all my bills and still work full-time." I froze mid-step, the mug in my hand trembling. Ava smiled like she'd earned it. My name wasn't mentioned. Not once. She stood there, basking in the applause, taking credit for every cent I'd scraped together, every sleepless night, every sacrifice. I'd been the one skipping meals, working overtime, fighting off debt collectors. And now my mother was hugging the thief of my effort, my own sister. The neighbors nodded approvingly. Mrs. Patterson from next door patted Ava's shoulder. "You're such a blessing to your mother." That's when something inside me cracked. Not in anger, in silence. The kind that burns colder than rage. I set the mug down carefully, smiled politely, and excused myself to the bathroom. In the mirror, I barely recognized the exhausted woman staring back. But her eyes had changed. They weren't defeated anymore. They were calculating. My name is Frankie Tate, and for the past year, I'd been quietly paying for my mother's recovery after a stroke. Every utility bill, every medical expense, every mortgage payment came from my account. I worked 3 jobs, a nurse assistant during the day, a waitress 3 nights a week, and weekend shifts at a grocery store. I hadn't taken a vacation in 2 years. My apartment was a studio with furniture from thrift stores. I ate ramen more often than I cared to admit. But Mom needed help, and I was the one who lived nearby. Ava had moved to the city 5 years ago, chasing her dreams of becoming a social media influencer. She called twice a month, posted perfect photos with inspiring captions, and sent flowers on holidays. Meanwhile, I was the one cooking Mom's meals, driving her to appointments, and staying up late managing her finances. I never asked for thanks. I just didn't expect my sister to steal my name off the bills. At church the following Sunday, Pastor Williams thanked Ava publicly for keeping her mother afloat during difficult times. The congregation applauded. I stood 3 rows behind her, invisible. People turned to smile at Ava, who graciously accepted their praise with humble nods and grateful tears. When the service ended, she hugged me for photos that her friends eagerly took. As the camera flashed, she whispered in my ear, "Smile, Frankie. It's for Mom." My jaw clenched, but I smiled. The photo would later appear on her social media with the caption, "Family isn't about money, it's about love." 300 likes in an hour. Comments poured in calling her inspirational. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. Around 2 in the morning, I got up, opened my laptop, and started downloading bank statements. I created a folder on my desktop entitled it, "The Truth." Every payment receipt, every transfer confirmation, every bill with my name on it, I saved them all. Over the next week, I organized everything methodically. I printed statements and highlighted the relevant transactions. I took screenshots of payment confirmations with timestamps. I documented every phone call with utility companies, every email exchange with Mom's doctors about medical bills. The folder grew thicker each day. There were over 200 documents in total, spanning 12 months. Each one told the same story: I was the one paying. Not Ava. Never Ava. Looking at the evidence gave me a strange sense of calm. The anger I'd felt in Mom's kitchen transformed into something else, determination. Cold, focused determination. I didn't know it yet, but those papers would destroy her carefully constructed image. I placed the folder in my desk drawer and locked it. Then I did something I hadn't done in weeks. I slept peacefully through the entire night. Because now I had a plan. Ava invited me to dinner at an expensive restaurant downtown. She ordered wine I couldn't afford and talked about her latest brand partnership. Halfway through the meal, I mentioned how exhausting it was managing Mom's finances. Her expression darkened. "Frankie, you're making this about money again. We're family. Who cares who pays what?" I set down my fork. "I care when you take credit for things you didn't do." She laughed, but it sounded forced. "Oh my God, are you serious? You're jealous? Of what? I'm not jealous, Ava. I'm tired. Tired of what? Being dramatic? She leaned forward. Look, if you can't handle helping Mom, just say so. But don't make me the villain because you're overwhelmed. I left without ordering dessert. As I walked to my car, I heard her phone ring. Through the restaurant window, I saw her answer it. She was talking to Mom. When I got home, Mom called me. Honey, Ava says you've been acting strange lately. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Mom's voice carried concern, but also doubt. Ava's words had already started poisoning her perception of me. I wanted to scream the truth, to tell her everything right then. But I knew that emotional outbursts would only confirm Ava's narrative that I was unstable. Instead, I took a deep breath. I'm fine, Mom. Just tired from work. Are you sure? Because Ava's worried about you. I bit my tongue so hard I tasted blood. I appreciate her concern. After we hung up, I sat in silence for a long time. The realization hit me like a wave, arguing wouldn't work. Defending myself would look desperate. Ava had positioned herself perfectly as the caring daughter while painting me as the bitter, jealous sister. No more arguing, I decided. Only proof. Cold, undeniable proof. That night, I logged into Mom's email account. She'd given me access months ago to help manage her medical correspondence. I set up an automatic forwarding rule for every payment confirmation to go to her email. Digital breadcrumbs, I thought. Let them form slowly. Over the next few weeks, the automatic emails did their quiet work. Every utility payment, every medical bill, every mortgage transaction, confirmation emails flooded Mom's inbox with my name on them. Meanwhile, Ava continued her performance. She posted on social media, "Family isn't about who pays the bills, it's about who cares enough to show up." The irony would have been funny if it wasn't so infuriating. She shared articles about caregiving, tagged them with inspirational quotes, and received thousands of likes. Her follower count grew. She even started a YouTube channel about balancing career and family responsibilities. I watched one of her videos where she talked about sacrificing her social life to care for her ailing mother. Not once did she mention that she visited Mom maybe twice a month, usually just long enough for a photo opportunity. Meanwhile, I was there every single day, cooking, cleaning, managing medications, driving to appointments. But I stayed silent. My plan required patience. One afternoon, I casually mentioned to Mom that I might need to take a break next month to save money. I said it while preparing her lunch, keeping my tone light and conversational. Things are getting tight with all the extra shifts. I might have to cut back on some expenses. Mom's face went pale. Cut back? But what about the bills? I'll figure something out. Maybe some bills can wait a month. But Ava said she's been paying everything. The words hung in the air. I turned slowly from the stove, letting the silence stretch. Mom realized what she'd just revealed. I mean, she said she's been helping. Has she? I asked quietly. Mom's hands trembled slightly as she reached for her phone. I thought, she told me. Check your account, Mom. Check your email. See who's actually been paying. I left the kitchen, giving her privacy. Through the wall, I heard her typing, clicking, scrolling. The silence that followed told me everything. When I returned to the kitchen 20 minutes later, Mom was staring at her computer screen. Her face was confused, troubled. The bank statements showed only my name on every transaction. She looked up at me, questions in her eyes. Frankie, these payments, they're all from your account. Yes. But Ava said. I waited. Let her connect the dots herself. She said she'd been managing the finances. Managing and paying are different things, Mom. Before she could respond, the front door opened. Ava breezed in, carrying flowers and wearing a bright smile. Hey, family. Brought Mom's favorites. She kissed Mom's cheek and set the bouquet on the counter. The timing was perfect, or perfectly terrible. Mom glanced between us, uncertainty written across her face. Ava sensed the tension. "What's going on?" "We were just discussing bills," I said calmly. "Oh, that reminds me," Ava said cheerfully. "Mom, I've been thinking we should set up a better system for tracking expenses. Let me help organize everything." I almost laughed. "That sounds helpful, Ava. Maybe you could show Mom all your payment receipts." Ava's smile faltered for just a second. "Why are you being weird, Frankie?" "I'm not being weird. Mom just wanted to see who's been paying what." "This again?" Ava sighed dramatically. "Listen, let's not make money a fight. We're family. What matters is that Mom's taken care of." "You're absolutely right," I said, my voice honey-sweet. "Honesty shouldn't cause fights." Something in my tone made Ava pause. She looked at Mom, who was still staring at the computer screen, then back at me. "I should go. I have a meeting." After she left, Mom asked, "Why didn't you tell me you'd been paying everything? Would you have believed me?" The question landed heavily. We both knew the answer. Ava had spent months building her narrative, and Mom had bought every word. Evidence, not emotion, would change her mind. That evening, I did something I'd been preparing for. I pulled out my phone and opened the voice recorder app. I had recorded my entire conversation with Ava at the restaurant, including her dismissive comments about who pays what. Our family had a group chat, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. Ava used it frequently to share updates and photos. That evening, she posted a long message, "Just want to thank everyone for the support during this difficult time. Managing Mom's finances while balancing work has been challenging, but family is worth every sacrifice. Grateful for all the prayers." 14 people saw it immediately. Heart emojis and supportive comments poured in. I waited 10 minutes. Then I replied with one line, "Which finances exactly?" I attached a single screenshot, a bank statement from last month showing a mortgage payment from my account. The chat went silent. The typing indicators appeared and disappeared multiple times. My Aunt Teresa was the first to respond, "Frankie?" Then my cousin Marcus, "What's this about?" Ava's response came quickly, "This is inappropriate. We can discuss this privately." But the seed was planted. 3 people privately messaged me asking for more information. I sent them each a few more receipts. Not everything, just enough to make them wonder. The neighbors decided to throw a small thank you party for Ava. Mrs. Patterson organized it, asking me to help set up. I agreed cheerfully. Ava arrived in a new dress, looking radiant. 20 people gathered in Mrs. Patterson's backyard, praising Ava's dedication. I encouraged her to give a speech. "Everyone wants to hear from you, Ava." She didn't need much convincing. She stood, glass in hand, and talked about sacrifice, family duty, and the importance of being there for loved ones. She detailed every bill she'd covered, the mortgage, the utilities, the medical expenses. People hung on every word. Then Mrs. Patterson smiled and said, "Funny thing, Ava. Frankie's the one who paid me back for the last 3 months of groceries I bought for your mom." The backyard went quiet. Faces turned toward me, then back to Ava. Well, we've been working together," Ava stammered. "Have we?" I asked gently. Mr. Chen from 3 doors down spoke up. "Frankie's been the one bringing your mom to my wife's physical therapy sessions." Ava's smile cracked for the first time. After the party, Ava followed me home. She burst through my apartment door without knocking. "You're trying to ruin me." Her face was red, tears streaking her makeup. "Why are you doing this?" I stayed calm, sitting on my worn couch. "I'm not doing anything, Ava. I'm just not covering for you anymore." "Covering?" "I've been helping Mom." "By lying about who pays her bills? By taking credit for my work?" "You're jealous. You've always been jealous of me." I laughed quietly. Jealous of what? Your Instagram followers? Your fake perfect life? At least I have a life. You're just bitter because you're stuck here. I'm not stuck. I chose to stay and help Mom. You chose to leave and pretend. She pointed a shaking finger at me. I'll make Mom choose between us. You'll lose. Will I? I met her eyes steadily. I don't need to ruin you, Ava. The truth already has. She slammed the door on her way out. 2 days later, Mom called us both over. We sat in her living room, tension thick enough to cut. Ava's eyes were red from crying. I sat quietly, hands folded. Girls, I don't know what to believe anymore, Mom said, her voice strained. My daughters are fighting, and I'm caught in the middle. Ava immediately started crying harder. Mom, I've tried so hard to help. Frankie's been sabotaging me, spreading lies. I haven't spread anything, I interrupted calmly. I've just stopped hiding the truth. What truth? Mom asked. I reached into my bag and pulled out the folder, thick, organized, undeniable. I placed it on the coffee table between us. This is every payment I've made for the past year. Every bill, every receipt, every confirmation. My name, my account, my money. Mom's hands trembled as she reached for it. Ava went pale. Mom, you don't need to look at that. She's manipulating you. But Mom was already opening the folder, scanning the pages. Her eyes moved from document to document, reality slowly sinking in. Mom spent an hour going through the folder. Ava tried to interject, to explain, to deflect, but Mom silenced her with a raised hand. When she finally looked up, tears streamed down her face. All this time, I thanked the wrong daughter. The words hit like a physical blow. I'd wanted vindication, but seeing Mom's pain made victory taste bitter. Mom, I started. No, let me speak. Mom's voice was firm despite the tears. Ava, you let me believe you were paying for everything. You accepted praise for your sister's sacrifices. Why? I wanted to help. I did help, in other ways. What ways? Mom demanded. Visiting twice a month? Posting photos? That's not help, that's performance. That's not fair. Ava protested. Neither is stealing credit for a year of someone else's work, Mom replied. Before anyone could say more, the doorbell rang. Mom wiped her eyes and went to answer it. Ava stood in the doorway, holding more flowers, her signature move. Surprise! I brought. She stopped, seeing Mom's face. Mom stood at the door, blocking Ava's entry. You lied to me. Mom, what? I just brought flowers. You lied about paying the bills. About taking care of me. About everything. Ava's eyes darted past Mom to where I sat at the kitchen table, receipts still spread across the surface. Her expression hardened. Did Frankie tell you that? She's trying to turn you against me. Frankie showed me proof, Mom said quietly. Bank statements, payment confirmations, receipts with her name on them. What do you have to show me, Ava? I helped in other ways. Like taking credit that wasn't yours? Like letting everyone praise you for your sister's sacrifices? I never asked for praise. But you accepted it. You built your entire online presence on a lie. Ava's tears started flowing. I'm still your daughter. Yes, you are. And you're welcome to visit. But right now, I need space to think. Mom closed the door gently but firmly. Through the window, I watched Ava stand on the porch, shocked, before finally walking away. Over the next few days, Ava went on the offensive. She called every relative in our family, spinning a new narrative. I was the manipulative one, she claimed. I'd forged documents, twisted the truth, poisoned Mom against her. Some relatives called me, asking for my side of the story. I didn't defend myself with words. Instead, I sent them the original payment confirmations, digital files that couldn't be forged, with timestamps and bank authentication. I sent screenshots of my bank account showing the transfers. I sent photos of bills with my name as the account holder. One by one, the calls stopped. The family group chat went silent. Then, slowly, messages of support started coming. My Aunt Teresa called. "Honey, I believe you. I always wondered how Ava afforded everything while starting her business." My cousin Marcus texted, "That took guts. Proud of you." Uncle Bernard sent an email, "Your father would be proud of how you've taken care of your mother." The tide was turning, and Ava felt it. Aunt Teresa suggested we visit a lawyer. "You need to protect your mother's finances legally. Set up a power of attorney, make sure there's no confusion about who manages what." The meeting was straightforward. The lawyer, Mrs. Hamilton, reviewed the evidence I'd brought and nodded approvingly. "This is well documented. We can establish financial power of attorney and set up safeguards to prevent unauthorized access." Mom signed the documents, giving me legal authority to manage her finances. It wasn't about control, it was about protection. Mrs. Hamilton also suggested something else. "Given the family dynamics, you might want to consider establishing a trust with clear conditions. It protects everyone and removes ambiguity about financial matters." "What kind of conditions?" Mom asked. "Documented contributions to care. Not just financial, time, effort, medical support. Everything gets recorded. When it comes time to distribute assets, there's a clear record of who actually helped." Mom glanced at me. "That sounds fair." We spent another hour setting up the trust. Every future contribution would be documented, no more confusion, no more lies. Ava found out about the lawyer visit through our cousin Marcus, who mentioned it casually in the family chat. She immediately called for a family meeting, demanding mediation. Aunt Teresa agreed to host it at her house. 10 family members gathered in her living room. Ava arrived with puffy eyes and a prepared speech. "I just want everyone to know that I've been unfairly attacked. Yes, maybe I wasn't clear about the financial specifics, but my heart was in the right place. I love Mom. I love my sister. This has been blown out of proportion." She looked around the room for support. A few people nodded sympathetically. Then Aunt Teresa spoke. "Ava, did you pay any of your mother's bills in the last year?" I contributed in other ways, that's not what I asked." "Did you make any direct payments?" Silence. "I was planning to, but my business, so the answer is no." Uncle Bernard leaned forward. "Ava, did you tell people you were paying the bills?" "I may have been unclear, you told the entire church," I said quietly. "You posted about it online. You let everyone praise you." The mediator, a professional Aunt Teresa had hired, asked to see documentation from both of us. I handed over my folder. Ava had nothing, no receipts, no bank statements, no proof of any financial contribution. The mediator reviewed my documents for 20 minutes while we sat in uncomfortable silence. Finally, she looked up. "Based on this evidence, Frankie has been the sole financial provider for her mother's care. Is that correct?" "Yes," I said. "Ava, do you contest this?" Ava's lips trembled. "I never said I was the only one paying. People just assumed, you let them assume," the mediator corrected. "And you actively cultivated that assumption through your statements and social media posts." "I just wanted to feel needed," Ava broke down. "I felt guilty for leaving. For not being here. So when people thanked me, I didn't correct them." "That's not the same as helping," I said. "I know." Her voice was small. "I know that now." The mediator turned to Mom. "How would you like to proceed?" Mom stood, and the room went quiet. Her hands trembled, but her voice was firm. "Ava, you're my daughter, and I love you. But what you did was wrong. You lied to me, to our family, to our community. You built your reputation on your sister's sacrifices. Ava sobbed quietly. Frankie carried me when no one else did. She worked 3 jobs, gave up her own life, never asked for recognition. And when she finally needs acknowledgement, you're upset that your lie is exposed? I stayed silent, letting Mom's words fill the space. I've decided to update my will. From now on, any future inheritance will only go to family members who document their actual contributions to my care. Not promises, not good intentions, actual, proven help. Aunt Teresa nodded approvingly. Uncle Bernard said, "That's fair." Ava looked devastated, but she nodded slowly. I understand. Mom's voice softened. You're still my daughter. You're still welcome in my life. But the lies stop now. The performance stops now. If you want to help, help. If you can't, that's okay too. But be honest. The lawyer drew up the new will based on Mom's wishes. It included a detailed clause: any family member claiming to contribute to Mom's care must provide documentation, receipts, time logs, medical appointment records. The clause applied to everyone, including me. It wasn't about punishment, it was about truth. Ava signed the acknowledgement without looking at me. Her hand shook as she wrote her name. After everyone left, Mom and I sat together in her kitchen. Was I too harsh? She asked. No. You were fair. I kept thinking about all those times I thanked her. All those times I made you feel invisible. You didn't know. I should have known. I should have asked more questions, looked more carefully. I took her hand. We both learned something. Sometimes the loudest person in the room isn't the one doing the most work. Mom squeezed my hand. Your father would be so proud of you. It was the first time she'd mentioned Dad since he passed 3 years ago. The validation I'd been craving wasn't from Ava's downfall, it was from Mom finally seeing me. 2 Sundays later, Pastor Williams made an announcement at church. We're starting a community caregiving fund to support families caring for elderly or ill loved ones. This fund will be named after Patricia Tate and managed by her daughter, Frankie. The congregation applauded. I stood, feeling dozens of eyes on me, but this time it didn't hurt. This time I was being seen for who I actually was. Frankie has exemplified quiet, selfless service, Pastor Williams continued. She worked multiple jobs to support her mother, never seeking recognition. That's the kind of love we should all aspire to. I glanced at Ava, sitting 3 rows back. She wasn't crying or causing a scene. She just sat there, small and quiet. After the service, she approached me. Can I help with the fund? The question surprised me. You want to help? Yes. No cameras, no posts, no credit. Just help. I studied her face, looking for deception. I found only exhaustion and something that might have been genuine remorse. Okay. We can use volunteers. Over the following weeks, Ava showed up. Not for photos or praise, but to actually work. She helped organize donation drives, sorted through paperwork, and visited elderly community members who needed assistance. She didn't post about it on social media. She didn't tell everyone what she was doing. She just did it. One afternoon, we worked side by side, sorting donated medical supplies. I'm sorry, she said quietly. For what, specifically? I needed to hear her say it. For lying. For taking credit. For making you invisible while I played the hero. She wiped her eyes. I was so caught up in building my brand, in being seen as successful, that I forgot what actually mattered. Why didn't you just help from the beginning? Pride, I guess. I didn't want to admit that my business was struggling, that I couldn't afford to help financially. So instead of being honest, I pretended. Pretending hurt everyone. I know. She looked at me. You were right, Frankie. You were right about everything. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt tired. 6 months passed. Mom's health improved steadily. The house felt different now, lighter, more honest. Ava visited regularly, and while things weren't perfect between us, they were real. No more performances, no more lies. I finally saved enough to move into my own apartment, nothing fancy, just a one-bedroom with good light and space for my things. My bank account, once constantly drained, now showed a steady balance. I'd cut back to 2 jobs, giving myself room to breathe. One Saturday morning, I sat in my new apartment drinking coffee, sunlight streaming through the window. My phone buzzed, a text from Ava. Mom's asking for both of us for lunch. I'm bringing the food, no flowers. I smiled and replied, see you there. Looking back at that moment in Mom's kitchen when Ava basked in stolen praise, I realized something. She hadn't just taken credit for my sacrifice, she'd taken something more valuable. Trust, honesty, and genuine connection. And in the end, those were the things she lost. Not money, not inheritance, but the respect of everyone who mattered. The price of her lie wasn't measured in dollars. It was measured in broken relationships slowly being rebuilt, one honest moment at a time.